Welcome to the David Pakman Show. I'm Farron Cousins from Ring of Fire, sitting in for David Pakman again today. But don't worry, folks. David will return on Monday with fresh content for you. I did, in fact, confirm that with him today. So he will be back. And I thank you all for watching this week as I've been filling in. It is a great honor, a great opportunity. Thank you to David. Thank you to Pat. Thank you to everybody with this show. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing to be able to do. And the audience, y'all are absolutely fantastic as well. And because of that, I'm giving you a special treat today. I am actually kicking off this show with an entire segment filled with good, positive news. Now, as we all know, in this, profession, if you want to call it that, we don't get to talk about good things very often. Usually it's how things have gone wrong, how things could go wrong, the craziness coming from our politicians, and of course we have all of that coming up later, but for right now, folks, good news. And the first piece of good news is that the FDA has authorized the very first COVID treatment pill from Pfizer that they're predicting will be available in a matter of days. And this comes, as we talked yesterday, as Omicron has now become the predominant strain of COVID here in the United States. More than 73% of new cases are Omicron. And of course, the graphs are going back up. We're seeing another upward curve. So getting this treatment, having this finally be available for the first time, is a huge positive development in our handling of the pandemic. Because let's be honest, we know that the vaccines are effective. We know that the vaccines have been preventing people from getting serious illness, have been preventing lots and lots of deaths, but it's not enough because not enough people are getting it. That's how we end up with more mutations and more different variants, and of course, the increasing deaths and number of cases. Having this treatment gives us really this two-pronged attack against the virus itself. Now, this treatment, the pill called Paxlovid, again produced by Pfizer, the administration has already pledged more than $5 billion to purchase about 10 million doses from Pfizer over the course of the next year. 10 million doses is not very much. I mean, when we're talking about the grand scope of COVID here in the United States, 10 million isn't going to get us very far. Pfizer says, however, they're hoping to be able to produce between 80 and 120 million doses within the next 12 months. So that's good. That might be enough. So what we know so far is in the early days, much like with the vaccines, the priority for these COVID pills is going to go to the elderly, those 65 and older, and those with high-risk comorbidities, chronic lung problems, asthma, diabetes, heart problems. So again, that's very similar to what we saw in the early days of the vaccine rollout. And then hopefully, once that is kind of under control, once we get more production going, it will be widely available to anyone who comes down with COVID. And Pfizer also tells us another bit of good news. They have every reason to believe that this treatment will also be effective against the Omicron variant, which obviously wasn't a thing when they were doing their testing, but they believe it should be just as effective. And here's why. It all has to do with how the treatment itself works, which here it is. This is from Wall Street Journal. Researchers designed the pill to stop the coronavirus from spreading in people by blocking activity of a key enzyme known as protease, and my apologies if I'm mispronouncing that, which the virus needs to replicate. The enzyme isn't believed to be mutated in Omicron, which is why Pfizer and other researchers say the antiviral likely will work against Omicron. The authorization comes after researchers found Paxlovid was safe and cut the risk of hospitalization or death by about 89%. If people at high risk of severe COVID took the pill within 3 days of diagnosis, treatment was also highly effective if begun within 5 days of symptoms. So what's great about that is it's not one of those treatments where once you show symptoms, oh no, the treatment's not going to work. No, you basically have a timetable of if you can get it within 3 to 5 days of first showing symptoms, this thing has a real chance, 89% chance of reducing the risk of hospitalization or death. So that brings in another part of this. Early detection. People have to know if the symptoms they're exhibiting are COVID, or maybe it's a flu, maybe it's a cold, maybe it's something else. So that's where these at-home testing kits come into play. And the administration this week said they're going to give 500 million at-home tests out to the public, free of charge. You don't have to pay for these things. 500 million, we need more. We're going to need more. And they need to not just be available. It's time, use your power, send them to people's homes. That's what needs to happen here. Sure, you're going to have some nutty people out there that just throw them out. And we're going to see videos about it online. But the risk is less than the reward. Because people have to get that early detection so they know right away when they get the sniffles, uh-oh, this is COVID. Let me go see if I can get that treatment pill, knock this out, and avoid something far worse from happening to me. So again, hugely positive story. Combined with the vaccines, we may finally be on track to get this pandemic under control, because really, the treatment for it has been the big X factor. So far, up to this point, we haven't had any kind of set treatment. It really has been not the kitchen sink part, but it's been doctors just trying to keep people alive. And that's great. They've done phenomenal work, but we haven't been able to find something to actually stop the virus, from replicating inside of the human body until this treatment. So, this is good news. This is highly positive. Hopefully Pfizer can ramp up their production, which is what they're hoping to be able to do, to get more and more doses out there. And if this works, and of course if we can get this spread around the globe so that everybody has access to the treatment, not just us here, if we can do that, we may finally get this pandemic not just under control, but maybe even eradicated in the future.